In Mad Max Fury Road, we see the world reduced to a dystopian wasteland in which our protagonist Max has only one mission, that is to survive. And among, of course, the various issues I believe the film has, I'm simply taken aback at how unique the experience of Mad Max Fury Road really is. Director George Miller crafts something that is ever so stylistic in the best of ways that works to its advantage due to the overuse of style after a point. Even the visual sense behind this film is so incredibly, dare I say the word perfect, but every single moment in the film is a visual treat. Blending this unique landscape with both wide and personal shots really manages to give you the holistic sense of what this environment is really like, and there's certainly a great job done in that with regards to the action, at least, creating what I believe is not only some of the most balls out, bizarre and crazy action I've ever seen, but at the same time something that ends up being incredibly entertaining. It starts to feel like a strange yet beautiful dream after a point. Each character has their own incredibly unique look, they're riding their own incredibly unique machine, and they're doing things that are so incredibly strange, but strange in the best of ways and in the largest of ways, might I add. I definitely have to add the fact that the scale of this film is certainly a lot larger than I had anticipated. In fact, George Miller does harken back to the silent era film when you have just a lot of people on screen, not just in terms of how he shot it, but in terms of choreographing the various movements of the people on screen. Paying close attention to detail, whether in the design of the film or the various intricacies of the action, really elevating it to a much higher level. And at the same time, he really manages to breed a great sense of intensity through the course of the film, especially within the action sequences once again. However, my fixation on the action scenes arises for two reasons. One, because they're so damn fantastic, but at the same time, it's because a lot of the other scenes within the film and a lot of the other moments and beats don't necessarily live up. Not that they need to, but they need to be of a certain standard that I'm not 100% sure the film really managed to achieve. Because while his visual style does work for the most part, I felt within the first 10 or 15 minutes of the film a great sense of awkwardness, me having to adjust to this new world, wondering where is this going and hoping for something a lot better because of the fact that the design and the world that the film exists in has a lot of potential that they ultimately do exact out, not to the fullest, but to a high degree at least. And I was left certainly waiting for that. Furthermore, the characters in the film don't necessarily have the most obvious or stated motivations, which is certainly not a bad thing. Of course, Max does state his own motivation of survival, which within this world makes a lot of sense, but unfortunately the character's very basic motivations fail to give a much larger sense of what the film is really trying to say. And a lot of the context surrounding what they're doing is revealed more towards the end of the film, which does make sense then in context, but in the heat of the moment really makes it hard for a viewer to put two and two together, simply because of the fact that a lot of things that they are doing seem ever so random. But at times it is that randomness that really does add to the fact that this does reflect a lot on humanity itself, focusing on a futuristic world that has reached such an almost horrifying degree really shows where we are today and where we are moving. Through the grit that the film possesses, it really manages to reflect on the barbaric behavior of humanity, and through such barbaric behavior that's portrayed, it does manage to breed a lot of fun within the film as well. And the film certainly works as a reflection on inherent human nature, almost scaling us back to the prehistoric age with the technology that we have today, and things like language, which I believe is certainly a form of technology, making you look at both yourself and the world around you, and really trying to understand and to decipher what a lot of things mean with regards to human nature and where this is really taking us, and the fact that the savage of humanity is something that is far from gone, but is something that is so incredibly inherent within us. And the film ever so exploits the savage and barbaric nature of humanity that really manages to, of course, with a beautiful visual style, portray something that is entertaining to say the least, with a great degree of fury behind the filmmakers. Unfortunately, I do not believe that the fury is enough to really push it over the line to make it something far greater, as a lot of people believe it really is. If for nothing else, it's a film that has to be witnessed for the sheer effort behind it, because simply there is nothing quite like Mad Max Fury Road. I'm gonna give the film a double yes.